Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely stream deck. For more information about the stream deck, the link is in the description below.
Ladies, gentlemen, a very warm welcome, good evening, welcome to the 6th round of the Formula 2 League in AOR, this time featuring live from the beautiful country of Austria, definitely one of my favorite vacation holiday locations, whatever you want to call it, right in between the mountains in the Steiermark region, as they like to call it, the Steiermark, and as the Germans like to say, the Red Bull Ring, of course, the home of the Red Bull Racing team. While they have their factory in Great Britain, it's still their home track. It's one of the shortest on the calendar, with 72 laps that will be taking place here. 3 overtaking opportunities in turn 1, 3 and 4 of course, and along with those 3 fancy DRS zones. Austria also features the highest waterfalls in Europe, the Krimmel waterfalls, where I've actually been myself. But that's not the point of today, to talk about the holiday and stuff. This is the Drivers' Championship as it stands currently. Taisu still going in the lead, however Persegili is now giving proper chase after he won the last race, finally his first win in this tier and in this league. Well done to him, 62 points, at least 14 points behind the leader at the Drivers' Championship. As for the Constructors, of course, Alpine still fiercely leading, about 60 points ahead of the Mercedes team in P2. Alfa Romeo still in last place with just 8 points. However, of course, all of those drivers are now looking to score their potentially first points of the season, and there's plenty more drivers actually trying to find their first points in the season, including drivers such as Nevo, Rocky Ooze, I believe Revitalize doesn't have any points either yet, so they are definitely looking to score some points here today. And Austria definitely is a track where a lot of action will be taking place, where the field will be even closer than usual. I would be surprised if the entire field would be within a second or maybe even tighter. Let's make a bold prediction and say that everybody's going to be within 7/10 of one another. Looks like the grid will be entirely full tonight, as I am currently looking in the lobby. I think every single seat has been filled. Only the Geffa, I believe, isn't able to make it once again. Surprised though, just because in spite of his good results, he is now sitting still comfortably in P5 with plenty of points to spare. However, he will slowly fall down the order if he isn't able to make it for the next few races, of course. Anyway, it's time to get a move on onwards to the track, and let's see what the weather will do today. It could, of course, be pretty unpredictable, seeing as how it's in the mountains, and we all know that mountains usually provide an interesting weather pattern. It suddenly could start raining, thundering. It could be anything today. So let's find out what the weather will do here at the Spielberg track, the Red Bull Ring, whichever you like to call it. It's going to be interesting nonetheless. Lap times, of course, will be going to be somewhere in the 1:04s. Judging this group, it will no longer be 1:03s, as the performance of the cars has slowed down since the patch of last Monday. So last Sunday, we said the race in France was the last race with the old cars. Now there are slightly newer cars with a reduced performance, resulting in lower top speed and more understeer, which actually means that the cars have all become a bit heavier. Heavier cars, of course, results in the things I just said, and as such the lap times will be slightly slower than we are used to, and we have been used to in the last couple of races. Round 1 through 5. Anyway, round 6 is now officially on its way. Several drivers already making their way out onto the track, and it looks like dry all throughout the qualifying session at least. We see Johan already on an outlap on the medium tires, so let's actually go to see which tires. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if more people would try the medium tires today, as this is such a short track that the choice of tires is going to be more interesting. This is going to be tight anyway, and we can already see 5 people who like to give it a go on the mediums, one of them being Johan, Bibix, Boris, Nevo, Matrix and Revitalize also starting on the medium tires for their first hot lap. So let's see what they can do with that particular tire. Johan, the French Ferrari driver, coming around the final 2 corners to start his hot lap. Let's follow him along and see how he will do. On the main straight he comes then. His teammate just coming out of his pit box. No tow from his teammate there. And we see a slow Alpha Tauri currently sitting on the grid. That would be Bibix. Something's definitely happened here. And he's already going back into the pit lane. He might have already invalidated his lap by going a bit too wide in the short straight before the main one, which often results in the game invalidating that particular lap and the lap that follows, which is unfortunate if that happens. Anyway, Johan then on his way to a currently provisional pole position, as obviously he will be the first to set a lap time. He will have to negotiate with the traffic coming up quite soon. However, it does look like, if I look at the map, that he will be safe for the time being. So, of course, 2 purple sectors now. As he comes around the final 2 corners, not going too wide here, not going too wide here. He's taking it quite lenient with the limits there. Of course, as a banker lap, a 4.5. I actually think we might dive into the 1 minute 3 still. Going to be interesting. Let's see then. Revitalize also on his hot lap, also on the medium tires. Most people are now out of their pit box trying to set that lap time. And Revitalize, as I said earlier, yet to score points, so he'll definitely be eager to score those, as Boris slots into P2 with a 4.9. About 4/10 behind Johan, who's looking particularly fast today. Revitalize then coming in at a 5.2, now sitting in P3. And let's see here, this is always a man who might be a potential pole sitter. However, I do not see a purple. Yes, I do see a purple first sector right there now. So he's definitely going faster than Johan. However, Taisu now setting the fastest lap, followed by his teammate and Zane fast. And Gilbo even faster with a 4.0. So that's going relatively quickly now then. But we were actually following iBlue. He's always got that potential to set a pole time. However, he's on the medium tire, so he will be slower, while his teammate is sitting there outside of the track for some reason, probably to let him past. It's a bit of an inconvenient spot for himself and other drivers, as I see on the map they have to swerve around him now. However, iBlue then making his way around the final corner, setting P6 on the medium tires, which is very nice. However, there's still several people who are going to set the lap time on the softs. Persegili just missing out on pole position by a mere 7 milliseconds, which is incredibly, and we see now Bibix getting a penalty for a collision with another driver. Oh dear. So whatever position he's in, there will be 5 places added to that grid slot, which is unfortunate for him. Let's have a look at some of the drivers who are still out trying to set a time here. Matti, for example, who had the pole position in Azerbaijan 2 races ago, is now also trying to set a quick time on the medium tires. However, the only driver currently with the medium tires in the top 10 is iBlue with a 4.4. The exact same time as Zane Fast has driven on the soft tires. That is definitely saying something about iBlue's pace. He's definitely going for it today. He'd love to stay in that top 10. However, I think it's once again looking quite unlikely that anybody on the medium tires will start in the top 10 today. As we have now Pedzi going really fast today. Look at this. No, that's not the man we're looking for. We're looking for Pedzi, and this is Pedzi at the moment, who's coming across the line now, interestingly, after setting a lap time, which is a bit strange. We might have some desyncing issues, but let's just ignore that for the time being. Rocky Oos then, around the final corner, setting his lap time. Still not scored any points so far in the season. P15 at the moment, so unlikely for the time being to score points again. However, you never know in a Formula 1 race, as we have VAM, who is slid off the track and will have to nurse his car back into the pit lane. And he has to do so with a full new lap around the track, which has already been invalidated. Strusiak then coming out of the pit lane and then trying to go for a new lap here. And as you can see already, several people have switched their tires, but look at Nevo. On the medium tires, just over a tenth slower than the provisional pole position. That's incredible. This might go, oh dear, that's a bit wide there in the pit lane. This might be the only man who might potentially start the top 10 on the medium tires, as Persigili now goes into 1 minute 3s. 1 minute 3.9 there from Persigili, now taking over the provisional pole position from Pedzi, who is currently sitting in the pit lane. Reserve driver Boris, this time driving in the Haas of the Gaffa. A new attempt at setting a time as 1 minute 4.9 is clearly not fast enough. Already 1/10 faster than his previous time, but that would still not bring him up a position. However, it's only the first sector, which is actually purple. He has to be about a second faster than his previous time in order to qualify anywhere near the front row. And currently, all the times are not within 1 second of one another, so I might have been a bit too optimistic, as Revitalize is outside of the 1 second limit I actually predicted there. However, I'm sure he's going to improve big time. Let's see first of all what Boris can do though, the teammate of Nevo, who's actually set his time on the soft tires. Medium tires, sorry. Now surprisingly, he's actually come out on the soft tires this time. So let's see what time Boris does. P6, that's an extremely nice improvement there, as Nevo is now driving on the soft tires as well. Despite setting an incredibly nice quick time on the mediums, he decided to go for the softs anyway. Maybe it was to save out a set of soft tires. It might have been entirely possible. That's another interesting strategy that some drivers might have, as I believe this track does favor a soft to medium strategy. At least it was like that in the 2020 game. You never know what it will be in the 2021 game, as Revitalize is now retired from the session. I think that happened outside of the pit lane. Yes, he has crashed outside of the pit lane, so that's no longer an improvement for him. And once again, he'll be starting in the back. As a matter of fact, he'll be starting in last place, which is a shame. Anyway, while Nevo starts his fast lap, Pedzi has just gone across the line to start his hot lap, and he's currently sitting about a second, no, not a second, a tenth, sorry, behind Persigili, fighting for pole position. So Pedzi, who we do not really see that often in the front of the pack, is now doing some very good things for himself and his team, both who need plenty of points still. His teammate Strusiak on the map at least is moving out of the way, or I think has spun. Yes, it looks like this is definitely not a move to get out of the way of somebody. He's definitely spun his teammate. So he's now have to move out of the way of pretty much everybody, including his teammate, who's now coming up. However, he might just give him a bit of a tow there. Let's see what happens here. Yes, he is definitely giving his teammate a tow. Now that is a proper sacrifice if I've ever seen any. Pedzi then coming around the second to final corner, the final corner there. Well, his ERS is already used up and no improvement for him, but I do think he tried. He's going to try again. Taisu in the meanwhile also gone into the 1 minute 3s, just 3 milliseconds behind Taisu. It is quite unbelievable. Gilmove trying to improve. He's just 13 milliseconds slower than previously. He just needs tiny improvement to jump up a few places. If it's only a tenth, it might be good enough. No, it's not yet good enough for pole position. It would be P3. But 2/10 would be enough for a provisional pole time. Is he able to do that? No, he's just improving by 21 milliseconds, which is not nearly enough to improve his position. Still sitting on P4 then, Guillemot in the Williams. Johan, in the meanwhile, gone out again, currently sitting in P8, as Pedzi is now the fastest again, but he is currently spun. So there's definitely... Oh, dearie me! Okay, so it's definitely some desyncing going on, as the Aston Martin was absolutely not bothered at all by that crash. So, yeah, that's definitely Pedzi being desynced for me at least, and hopefully that will not be the case for the rest of the drivers in the lobby at the moment. Turns out that the desync issue has gone quite bad with the latest patch. I hope they will fix that very soon, because as you can see, it results in some very interesting scenes. The Aston Martin, however, was unfazed. Not entirely sure which Aston Martin it was. I think it was the Aston Martin of Matrix. He wasn't bothered at all. And look at that, Guillemot then in his second attempt at a fast lap. A 1 minute 3.6. Now that is an impressive time if I've ever seen one. 1 minute 3.697. Now almost 2/10 ahead of Pedzi in P2. Speaking of Pedzi, there's some really strange things going on. The desync is now causing Pedzi to slowly float back to the pit lane. On the minimap at least, so yeah, well, those things happen, I guess. Anyway, let's switch back to Daigoro, who is sitting in last place at the moment, surprisingly. And is currently trying to improve his time. There's not many laps left in this session though, and he's... Oh no, he's invalidated his lap while 3/10 up. That would have brought him around P15 if he didn't improve from that, of course. But oh dear, that's rather painful there. Back into the pit lane then, and he'll have to wait until his next go. Let's see though, DAM is currently not improving. Nevo has invalidated his lap. How's BBix doing? Coming across the line, just barely faster than his previous time, now in P5. Zane fast then, improving by 0.3 of a second at the moment. He might be high up, and he might even join the top 5 here in his Mercedes. Let's see what he does. Across the line, into P5, as I said, a 1 minute 4.021. Strong time there, just 5/100ths of a second faster than BBix though, so as I said, the field is really, really close today. Guillemot, however, looking incredibly nice there in P1. Persegili has closed that gap from P2 to P1 though, he's looking very strong as well. Currently sitting in P2. As one of the McLarens is now going out for a hot lap. I think it's Pedzi. Yes, it is Pedzi indeed. His teammate Strusiak just ahead on his outlap as well. Pedzi will have to find about 0.2 of a second somewhere in order to reclaim the provisional pole position. Can he do that? As the track will now get busy real soon. Several other cars are coming out on track now, as one of the Red Bulls here is kind of negotiating his way through all the traffic there. So far, he's successful, thankfully. Let's see what he can do. He's sitting in P18 at the moment, another very happy position to be in, and he's giving it his all to improve that as much as he can. In a moment, we'll switch back to Pedzi and see if he can improve his time. However, following him will not result in much, unfortunately, as he's desynced for me. Which is kind of a shame. Purple second sector then, improved by 0.3 already. That will bring him up to P14 at least. But of course the final sector will bring more improvement, most likely. Let's see if he invalidates or not, because this sector especially is notorious for invalidating laps. Pretty much on the limit. Look at those tires just barely scratching the curbs. The edge of the curbs, so that is, and then into P9, a 1 minute 4.1. Is only good enough for P9. The pace of this group once again is incredibly impressive. Patsy in the meanwhile trying to set a hot lap. I don't think this is where he is currently on the track though. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. His teammate Strusiak currently sitting in P12, trying to improve there. Oh, barely making it within the track. Pretty much on the limits wherever he can, and then improving. Not improving actually. No improvement for him today. The AM then. Thijs' teammate. Third in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, sitting 10th position with the exact same time as Johan. 1 minute 4.203. Currently almost 1/10 up in his all time, so not looking bright there for him right now. You never know, The biggest improvements usually come in the second and third sector. If you get all of the apexes you're absolutely spot on, you will improve your time. Let's see here. Yes, that's about half a tenth faster this time, which will currently bring him up to about P7. However, he still's got that final sector to negotiate. No invalidation here, pretty much on the limits. Ooh, nearly hitting that yellow slab of concrete there, and 1/10 faster, bringing up to P7. Well done to him. Persegidi also on his hot lap there, 0.02 of a second quicker. Currently not enough for pole position. A bit of a wiggle there, as Guillemot himself is on the way as well. Now, can these guys both improve? That's the big question, of course. Persegidi currently negotiating his way to the second sector, and invalidation! So that's his lap over then. If he's quick, he might have to go... might have try a second try actually there. Let's see if Guillemot can improve. No, he cannot improve. So let's see what Persegidi will do then. Pansy in the meanwhile has not improved. Taisu is already on his way as well, to see if he can improve. Currently 1/10 down on his time, so that's not looking likely at the moment. Qualifying then over, and Persegidi hasn't made it. Persegidi has not made it, as Matty has now improved to third place with a 1 minute 3.8, just barely faster than Zane Fast, now in fourth position. Patsy dropped all the way down to P5. Several things are going on right now. Vegas then improving to 9th place. Well done to him. He needs some points too, this man. Matty moving out of the way of several drivers. Let's see if anybody's still on the way. Taisu is still on the way, behind a McLaren. I'm entirely sure if he can see that McLaren. And there he comes then, and that's his lap invalidated. Oh, what on earth happened there? Oh dear. Now the question, of course, is that was Patsy's car, but was Taisu's car actually damaged by that? On my screen it looks like it is, so yeah, there's some really weird things going on today. Boris has invalidated his lap too. Everybody pushing to the limits, and some of them going beyond those limits, causing them not to be able to improve their laps, and therefore abandoning it, going into the pit lane, and that's qualifying over for today. So then, here is your top 10. Guillemot then, starting from pole position. Let's see if he can turn his luck into a win today. Persegidi close on his heels in second place. Matty strongly in third. Zane in fourth. Patsy surprise in fifth. Devo in P6, still looking for those first points. Boris in seventh. Taisu in eighth only. Championship leader, not looking strong there. The AM his teammate in P9, and Vegas in P10. So Alpine looks like slightly on the back foot. However, it's Austria. Things might happen. You never know what will happen on this track. And so far we've already seen that this group has been able to provide us with plenty of surprise anyway, regardless of what happens, regardless of what track it is. Just waiting for Matty to complete his pit entry or something like that, and then we can get going to the race. There we go then. The official end of qualifying is in. And there's the official results. As said before, BBX will get those 5 grid place penalties. Or actually, that's not fair to say. He's got a penalty of a 5 position displacement on the grid, moving him down to P16. The rest will be moving up a position there then. Let's hope that Pedzi will no longer be out of sync in a race, although I have very little hope for that to happen. So here you go then, the official results of the qualifying session. The race then come up. Globally, it's looking slightly more cloudy. Maybe it's an indication of rain. You never ever know. We've only seen rain once in this championship. F2 championship, that is, at least, of course. I'm not sure how it is in the F1 championship. The first drops of rain fell last week in France on Paul Ricard. And let's see what Austria will treat us with today. Will it be dry all throughout, or will we see some more rain droplets falling? Let's see if any information has been given in the Discord. Usually people are focused on the game, unable to speak in the Discord, but you never know. You never know. No updates. No updates as to the weather, so we'll have to go with guessing. And it's kind of impossible to guess with this game, as a sunny sky might suddenly turn cloudy and suddenly rain is falling out of it. So it's going to be a guess. I think it's going to remain dry all throughout, if I'm honest. Here we are then, ready for the formation lap. All the cars are set on the grid, and let's see what the tire strategy, tire choices of everybody, and it is pretty predictable here. Everybody in the top 10 on the softs, everybody outside of the top 10 on the medium tires, as the hard tire is not really an option on this track. As I said before, this track usually goes with a soft medium or medium soft strategy, as you're able to stretch those tires to their limits here. No big tire wear. So, yeah, soft medium or medium soft all the way, in my opinion. Rocky Oos has been disqualified from the warm-up lap. Not entirely sure what happened there. I think if somebody is going to be very disappointed, it's going to be iBlue. Fighting for the championship and sitting in P12. Daigoro will not be too happy either, sitting in P19 only. And Revitalize, of course, still looking for those elusive first points of his championship in 20th and last place. We are then slowly making our way to the grid, and Persegili already asserting his dominance by getting ahead of the pole sitter. They are running in P1 on the formation lap for some reason. I'm entirely sure why he wanted to do that. But here they are then, coming up to the start. Onto their proper grid position. All having warmed up their tires as much as they possibly could have done. Getting ready for the race to start. Look at them all doing that in perfectly synchronized movements. You gotta love the AI controlling your car. All cars are then ready and set, the green flags are waving, and it is time, I believe, to officially start the Austrian Grand Prix in the F2 League on September 19th. And it's light outs, away all they go, and already a penalty for a jump start for Rocky Oos. It's a terrible day for him then. And Guillemot in the lead and remaining in the lead, as Zane Fast is actually going into P3. Matty losing out to him then. falling down to 4th place, and a disaster at the back of the grid. 3 cars already on the back foot. The AM, Daigoro and Vegas. Oh, they are not looking very healthy there at all, as a fight in the midfield, including both AlphaTauris, already made up so many places. BBix, for example, moved from P16 to P9. What a start this man has had. Had a little bit of a tussle there with his teammate, but so far it's all looking nice and safe for both of them, which cannot be said for the people in the back there. Daigoro without a front wing. Vegas, it's looking fine for him at the moment. The AM also fallen down a lot, and Revitalized then moved into P17. And Rocky Ooze, after his jump start, is now going to serve his drive-through penalty. He might have actually caused a bit of the mayhem there. Going into the pit lane then, serving his drive-through, and there we go. Now once again it's going to be hard to follow whatever is happening on track, as the standings usually mess up a little bit there. BBix then moving into 7th place. Look at all these cars going ahead and side by side of one another. So many things going on. The AM has now retired from the session, crashed into the first corner. There's 1 Alpine out then for today, and not looking great there at all for him or for the team. A dark day for Alpine, as now Skykertovel is trying to go side by side with Strusiak in the fight for that single point in P10. And oh dear, yeah, Petsy is definitely still desynced. So let's completely ignore what's happening to his car. He was once again shoved aside by the Aston Martin's Matrix, who's now moved into 12th position. Let's see how the position changes have gone. Let's look at BBix, man. The flying start this man has made is quite impressive indeed. He's now on the back of his teammate still, iBlue, who's chasing down Taisu, who's now already moved up to P5, so well done to him as well. The AM then, the first retirement of the race. Plenty of things still happening everywhere in the track, as we'll now have several DRS trains coming into existence. For example here, as both AlphaTauris are fighting for P6, and BBix is actually given that place then from his teammate, as both the Haases are behind them as well, and they are fighting there for position in P8 and P9. Look at them going side by side, both have DRS, and now Boris, the reserve driver, has moved ahead of his somewhat temporary teammate there. Nevo now moving down to 9th position. Skykertovel trying to close that gap in 10th place at the moment, trying to score some proper points for Alfa Romeo, as their team needs it badly. Persegili in the meantime has moved into the lead. Such a shame that we kind of missed that. I'm really sorry about that. Persegili, oh dear! Gilmov having a bit of a moment there, trying to get back on the track, going very wide everywhere where you can to avoid Zane Fast, and now it's a Mercedes 1-2. Look at that! How often can you say that nowadays? Especially in racing leagues, where all the cars of course are equal. However, Gilmov is not going to give up that easily. Very close behind Zane Fast, trying to reclaim his 2nd position there. Gilmov trying to break as late as he possibly can. However, Zane Fast holding on for the time being, setting a first purple sector there. It's not over yet though. Gilmov side by side with Zane Fast, and this is a good thing for Persegili, as he can now try to edge away from both of these guys. Matty has closed them up as well, and Gilmov will have to stick to P3 for now, and he'll have to worry about Matty as well, as he's very close indeed as well. There, look at him go. Both Haases meanwhile have moved past iBlue. They are now sitting in P9. And they are both moving ahead of the rest there, slowly trying to edge to the rest. However, iBlue is still very close on the tail of Nevo. However, Skykertovel is close on his tail as well. There they go then, round the final corner. Some more DRS to play with. Can Skykertovel make a move here, which is always hard to do, of course. As we now head into the first corner. And then, well, towards the, what they call turn 2, which isn't really a turn in my opinion. Oh well. Skykertovel nearly trying to go side by side here, braking later, but not late enough to get actually side by side here, as Matty is now tussling with Zane and Guillermo for P2. Look at him go! There he goes then, into 2nd place. However, Zane Vos is trying to hold on. He'll have the inside line here. Guillemot then getting a 5-second penalty for corner cutting and gaining a position. And apparently he didn't give that position back in time, so now they have to suffer that 5-second penalty. The pole sitter then falling down position after position, and we see a spin. That was a spin. It was Skykartoffel. Skykartoffel spun out. He's not out of the race though. No damage so far as it seems. Might have had a bit of contact with either the AlphaTauri or the Haases, one of them. And Guillemot then already coming into the pit lane for his pit stop. And look at this battle for the lead then, still going strong. Persegili is not able to get that gap going from his teammate. Maybe he's actually trying to help out his teammate to make sure that Matty stays behind them. Guillemot then with an early pit stop as his teammate has suffered a spin, I believe, and is now far away on the back foot. So far, all the bad luck seems to come out into Revitalize for some reason, and it's terrible to see. But here is the fight of the top 3. Taisu is not able to close that gap. The championship leader trying to do everything. Currently gaining only 12 points in this case. If the race would finish right now, Persegili would be the new driver championship leader. And with a Mercedes 1-2, their team will definitely close the gap to Alpine as well. So there's a lot at stake for Mercedes today. Johan then being chased by Strusiak for P9. Not doing too bad either, Johan, by the way. Started P15, already moved up 6 positions into 9th place. As Potato gets a time penalty, currently sitting in 11th place. And now the fight for P1 is really on. Zane fast, chasing down his teammate. However, he might just stay behind for the time being, as he knows Persegili is fighting for the Drivers' Championship. Taisu then slowly now starting to close the gap to Matty. However, he's under serious pressure from Bibix on the medium tires, who's looking extremely quick today. He might actually be a potential race winner then, as he'll have the soft tires for later on in the race, and the rest will move on the medium tires. Everybody around him, I believe, even the Haases, both on the soft tires, are having to go to the harder and slower tire later on in the race. So it's looking good. It's looking very good for Bibix. P5 then, at the moment, on medium tires, made up 11 places since the start. Incredible. Fight for the race lead then, with a classic sight. Normally you would see this in real life a lot more often, with 2 Mercedes and Red Bull there fighting for P1. And look at them go. DRS then, online once again. Let's see what the telemetry says about their ERS. Persegili quite healthy, Zane running out of it, and Matty still having loads of ERS. So he's just waiting for the proper moment to strike, I think. While Bibix is fighting with Taisu, and he's gone past Taisu into 4th place on the harder tires, while the softs are still quite okay to drive on at the moment. Taisu is not able to find the pace to keep Bibix behind. Bibix then, who started P16, is now running 4th place. And he's starting to close the gap to the top 3 as well. Incredibly insane pace then from him. Doing great. But Taisu, of course, is not a person to give up easily, as Johan is the third person to get a 3-second time penalty. We all know that this track is quite harsh on those track limits there, so time penalties will come in a lot more than we'd like to see. Here come the top 3, all within one single screen there, positioned all properly for an attack. And it looks like Taisu is going to have a go now on Bibix. However, Bibix defending feverishly from Taisu's assault there, as both Haases are also trying to get some benefit there from all the fighting going on ahead of them. So far though, unsuccessful, but they are able to keep up for the time being. And it looks like there is an interesting fight going on here as well between 3 cars. Matrix, Vegas and Petsy, but I do think this is Petsy's desynced car, so I'm not entirely sure if he's actually in P14. I don't think he is, because he would have used DRS there. He's currently 41 seconds behind Vegas while driving right behind him. So I have no clue where he currently is. Lap 10 out of 36, 2 retirements so far. Daigoro and VAM are out of the race right now. Oh dear, that's Zane! Zane is gone and lost his car! And there goes his second position. And now he needs to make sure he's getting out of the way of the other cars then. Because the assault there was coming for sure. And that's a Mercedes 1-2 out of the window for sure. Pushed too hard into the first corner, lost control and spun. Now Matty is sitting in second position and Bibix in third. Unbelievably. And Taisu is starting to lose ground to Bibix, and now Nevo is on his back, trying to go into the inside here, but not succeeding yet. My goodness me. And Zane is now fallen victim to Strusiak as well, now fallen down to P9. As we have Patsy retiring from the race. Looks like he's having a bunch of bad luck then, and according to the map, the yellow flag is in sector 1, so that is where he might have actually been. It might have been his desync that he was suffering from it as well, but he's now out of the race anyway, and that's his race over for sure. Boris then, to pit from the top 10, and it's gone cloudy, so we might actually see some rain then. What tire will he switch to? A set of mediums, so have to stretch those for 25 laps along with a new front wing, so there's been some damage. There's been some damage for sure. Let's have a look here at the battles going on. This is the closest battle along with the battle for P11 here, with Vegas and Matrix going side by side. Vegas on his older soft tires still trying to get ahead of Matrix. However, Matrix getting the better traction there and the DRS and is easily moving ahead of Vegas once again. Now sitting in 11th place, 8.7 seconds behind the points. And yes, Guillemot did pit. After starting from pole position, he's had a couple of bits of bad luck there as we have another yellow flag. Nevo spun out, trying to enter the pit lane, I guess. As I said, Guillemot is pitted after falling down from P1 to P4 and picking up a 5-second penalty for overtaking outside of the track limits. So then, Nevo pitting. And it looks like Percy Gilly is trying to make a gap to Matty, not succeeding that much yet though. And Taisu is able to keep within the 1 second of Bibix. Bibix then will soon go onto the soft tires and set a strong pace then. So he might still be a potential race winner, as we have the 4th retirement of Potato now retiring in the pit lane. Revitalize will then move up to P16, far, far behind the rest. In the meanwhile then, Zane Fast will have to try and recover after a disastrous spin in the first corner. And there he goes, I jinxed him! I jinxed him! I jinxed Zane Fast. I am so sorry. I just said you spun and he spins again. How does he do that? Oh man, it couldn't be any worse now, could it? Oh man, this is insane, honestly. Now then, we'll have to look at another battle here. I will not say anybody spinning ever again, because somehow I make it happen. I don't know how I do that. And that's Zane Fast spinning out once again. His bad luck will not run out, as Matrix is still trying to keep ahead of Vegas, who's putting up a strong fight despite his older soft tires. He's gonna have another go, I believe, here. Or maybe he's just going to hang back for a while, knowing that we will have to pit soon anyway. And we have another spin. It's Matty. Oh dear. Now Matty spun out, and that means Persigili now has no more pressure from behind. The first person behind in this B-base on the medium tires in 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen. This race has gone absolutely wild. There he is then, starting in P16, now in 2nd place on the medium tires, still having to stop for a set of softs. And Taisu now happily sitting in 3rd place. Guillemot, because of everything, and there we see Vegas spinning then. Vegas has spun with his battle with Matrix there. Not entirely sure what happened. He might have lost control, he might have been touched by Matrix. But it looks like Matrix has no damage, so I think it's a spin by his own accord. Now things are really going nuts as Matrix is now being haunted very soon by Guillemot, as Boris is now setting the fastest lap of the race on his fresh set of medium tires, so he might find himself in a strong position soon in the front of the pack, as he was P6 or 7 before he pitted. Now let's see if things can quiet down a little bit today on track. A lot of things have been happening. Vegas then having to pit. Couldn't see if there was any damage, but of course he'll have to go for a new set of tires as he was on the softs anyways, and he's now back out on track. His teammate in the meanwhile is fighting with Matty for 8th place as we have another spin. It's Taisu, and Taisu, the championship leader, has spun into the pit lane. He goes. What happened there? Was it the fight with B-Bix then that screwed him, or was it his own fault? We will not know as we've missed it, unfortunately. But so many things, spins everywhere going on. A new set of mediums as smoke is coming up from his car. Not entirely sure why that's the case, but anyway, let's see what Skykartoffel can do against Matty, who's still going on the soft tires. Skykartoffel forcing himself side by side there with Matty, and Matty knows, and he lets him go past anyway. There he goes then. And Taisu now fallen down with the pit stop included, of course, to 13th position. Guillemot has gone back up to 8th position there. And he'll have to wait and see what will happen. I think Matty will be pitting soon as his pace is starting to slow down considerably compared to the medium tire users. As we have another spin of Revitalize spinning out at the end of the pit lane there. He's being unlucky still, as the race leader is now in the pit lane, going onto the medium tires. Let's see what that will place him. After several others have pitted as well, let's see what will happen. There he goes, then out onto the track, as Strusiak gets his 3-second time penalty there. Currently sitting in 3rd place, of course, still not having made a pit stop there yet. Matty, however, is still keeping up with Skykartoffel is trying to get a bit more pace out of his medium tires there, as there's still 20 laps to go after this one. Johan and Strusiak being very close together. Johan closing up that gap quickly, but not able to overtake him just yet. So then we have a temporary AlphaTauri 1-2. Both of them started way outside of the top 10. And here they are, leading the race in 1st and 2nd place. However, both of them started on the mediums and will have to stop, I'd say, in about 12. No, not 12. 8 laps. 6. Let's say 6 laps time. As Revitalize is now retired into the pit lane. Another fruitless and pointless session for him. Pointless as in no points. And look at this. Now then, Johan is hounding Strusiak everywhere, trying to gain 3rd place. He's fighting for it, but he's out of ERS. And Strusiak still got a bit of it. However, Johan moving side by side and ahead before the 3rd corner, but going way too wide, broke way too late. And that's his position gone for the time being. He's gonna have to try again later, it seems. We have Revitalize retiring on the track after retiring in the pit lane. For some reason the EAI still fancies to retire on the track. I'm not sure why. So then, Persegili now in P6 for now. The entire top 5 started on the mediums and has yet to pit. Taisu now on the back of one of the Haases, Boris's Haas there. Boris is one of the earliest guys to pit for the medium tires. So his tires are going to be very worn by the end of the race. Oh, he's being forced wide there and contact's being made. He's definitely not agreeing with this move happening as Taisu's trying to moving out of the way. Oh dear. I think the FIA will have to say a thing or two about this interesting situation. But that just happened. Taisu really wanted to get past badly and Boris was not accepting it whatsoever. The championship leader desperate for some more points there. Now sitting in only 9th position. 2 points for Alpine today only so far. Not looking great at all. And Boris will not be a happy man. In the meanwhile, Johan is still haunting Strusiak all over the place, trying to get that position. Both of them are having a penalty. Let's see, by the way, what kind of penalties they all are. Both 3-second penalties. Alright, that's what we'd like to see. Let's see how the tire ages are doing currently. Yes, there we go. Persegidi has now moved into the top 5 again, setting a fastest lap as well on his new medium tires. Guillaume's tires are getting 12 laps old by now. I'm not entirely sure if he can make it until the end of the race. Taisu is now close to get to the second Haas. Nivo is ahead of him. On slightly older medium tires. A nice exit from him there. Placing him in a good position to try for an overtake here. Of course, this part, it's a pretty hard place to overtake anyway. So let's see what he can do. And it's going to be a waiting game for a while longer. The field has now spread out quite a lot. The AlphaTauris are still leading the race, and Persegili is going absolutely wild and flying madly there in his car. Going strong and now closing the gap to the pair of Johan and Strusiak, who are still battling it out. That might slow him down just a little bit, which will be a good thing for BWX and iBlue. Guillemot going wide there in the final corner, and let's see what Taisu can do to climb up to P8. He's quite close together this time with the Haas, and he has already gone past him now. And he's already seeing Guillemot there ahead of him. Nivo then fallen to 9th place, and Boris now sees that his teammate has a bit of a problem there after the exit, but he remains behind him for the time being. Persegili has now officially closed the gap to the Strusiak-Johan pairing. Let's see what he can do, as both of them are still fighting for position, and there's no blue flags involved here, of course. And Johan is actually going to pit. He doesn't wish to be involved in the fight with Persegili. Maybe wisely so. And as such, Persegili will now have to close the gap to Strusiak, who is driving ahead of him. Guillemot then will now have to suffer the wrath of Taisu. Oh, that's just a joke. Guillemot then is now getting hounded by Taisu, that's the correct word to say, and there he goes already side by side into corner 3 there. Oh, that's a bit of a touch, And Taisu going wide. This might be a 3-way battle then, as Nivo is now getting involved. And Guillemot has actually let the Haas bust. So Taisu hasn't made up places, instead Nivo made up 2 places. Ooh, a bit of a wiggle there. Bit of an oversteering moment, but still looking good. In comes the race leader, BWX now going to the soft tires. Will he have enough pace to get to Persegili in time? Now that is the big question. It's going to be now or never. It will be a big gap to close, however. But BWX is looking strong. How far will he be behind, and will he be ahead of the pack that's coming up now? That's going to be really important, and I think he's going to make it, just barely making it ahead of the pack. No, oh, this is going to be very close. Nivo then coming up to the back of the AlphaTauri, but it looks like BWX will be able to stay ahead just barely. He is now just under 10 seconds behind Persegili as Taisu makes the move on Guillemot, now into 4th position. And he will have to go and get to Nivo to fight for the podium. And that's going to be very important to him. He's currently sitting in the position where Persegili will take over the championship lead. However, BWX is for sure going to be a threat to that. And is much faster soft tires. So then the race is on for the lead of the race here between Persegili and BWX. And of course, the fight for the podium, 3rd place here, is between Nivo, Taisu, Guillemot and Boris. But I do think Johan will be having a say in that as well, as he's now put on a set of fresh soft tires and only 2.2 seconds behind Boris. Nothing's been said yet for sure. Johan then setting the fastest time of the race so far, but I do think Bibix will smash that time very soon. As his teammate has fallen behind very far after they both made a pit stop on the same lap. So, ooh, a bit of a nudge there from Nevo on Thijs's rear tire. And Gilmov moving out of the way. It almost looked like that, at least. And Thijs, despite his third place at the moment, will have to move out of the way 3 seconds in order to keep that third position. Now, this is vital for him. What else is vital? Well, that is Bibix trying to chase down the leader. Thijs will now have to open a gap of 3 seconds in order to claim that third place, and he would like to see Persegili lose the first place, so that he at least has a bit of a larger gap remaining at the end of this race. So, a lot of things to play for then. Persegili chasing down the Driver Championship lead as Bibix, as predicted, now sets the fastest lap of them all. It's only 8.3 seconds remaining from him up until Persegili. How fresh will his tires be when he reaches him? In the meanwhile, the fight for P3 is still going incredibly strong. Johan is trying everything to catch up, but so far he's unsuccessful. And Matty is now having a say in that as well. Having a bit of a tussle there with Johan on his fresh soft tires is not able to keep Matty behind at the moment. There he goes then, Matty side by side into turn 4, and they touch and they spin! And that's Johan and the other way around on the track. A little nudge, the side by side there was absolutely deadly there for Johan. It's hard to say who's at fault there, it went all very quickly. And that's Johan then out of contention for the podiums for sure, unless of course the safety car will happen now. Bibix for sure will be the one who will not want a safety car, as he's currently another half a second closer to Persegili. At this rate though, it's going to be very close with 11 laps remaining after this one. If he does half a second per lap, he will not make it. He needs to do more than that. Johan then going into the pit lane frustrated and retiring from the race. He is not a happy man today. As Strusiak and iBlue are fighting it out for P8. iBlue then should have waited a lap longer to pit, I'm afraid, because he's very far behind now. He's not able to help his teammate out anymore. He's now fighting for his own. Strusiak now going ahead of him again. And both of them fighting for those valuable points for their team. And for their own championship, of course. .5 seconds remain for Bibix. Another half a second-ish gained on this lap, and it's still not enough. Thijs getting another 3-second penalty, not looking good now. 6 seconds worth of penalties. Whatever he tries now, he will definitely lose the podium position, and at this rate, he will lose the lead in the championship. It's going to be scary. Looks like he'll not be able to keep it up for long there. And Bibix is not gaining enough to close the gap to Persegili, who is driving once again an incredibly strong race there. So Tyson will now have to open a 6-second gap in order to keep that P3. It's going to be near impossible, I'm afraid, as the rest isn't letting go at all. And Gilmov, on his 20-lap-old medium tires, is still going, although he is starting to lose connection to the Haas ahead. Nevo is about to score his first points, and he's going to do that in a strong fashion, with a potential podium luring there for him. Can he do it, though? He's currently already sitting in a P3 anyway because of Taisu's penalties, and Gilmov and Boris behind that penalties as well. So he's looking comfortable. He'll not have to do much. He'll only have to try and keep up with Taisu, keeping within the 6-second limit. That's all he needs to do. No more than that. The only close, really close battle happening at the moment is between these two cars. One of them, unfortunately, is having a penalty. 3 seconds for Strusiak. Both of them have tires exactly the same age, so there's no difference in that. Ablu knows he'll just have to stay within 3 seconds if Strusiak overtakes him again, so there's no harm done there. And more I'm inclined to say that Bibix will not make it in time. Persegida will have to make a big mistake or get a penalty for Bibix to get a chance of winning this race, otherwise it's going to be another victory then. 2 in a row for Persegili. Taisu sees his championship lead slip away through his fingers. Slowly but surely. And we have a spin. It's Matty. Oh dear, Matty spun again. It's not his day today. He made a very good start, very strong at the beginning of the race, but he is now dropped to P10. Very, very unfortunate. Ooh, can he keep it on the track with his hot tires? I don't think he can. He spun out again. And this time he's hit the wall and lost his front wing, I'm afraid. Did he lose his front wing though? Not entirely, that's for sure. He's now forced to go into the pit lane. No more points for him. Will he continue? That's the question. No, he discontinues the race. That's him out. And that means we only have 13 contestants remaining. Unbelievable. That means no points for Ferrari, no points for Red Bull today. And as we speak, no points for Aston Martin either. Although they should have pounced on the opportunity, of course, with 7 retirements in this race alone. Absolutely incredible. Bibix still 5.8 seconds behind Persegili. It's not going to happen, I'm afraid. And the fights are starting to run thin. iBlue is just keeping up with Strusiak. He knows he hasn't got to do anything else. He's just trying to get Strusiak to tow him along to the other group, as he might reap some more rewards there, as the other guys ahead of him have penalties as well. He still is trying to fight there, though. When the opportunity is good and strong without losing too much time, of course you shouldn't just wait out there behind the other car, which is slower. For you, at least. But he does save a lot of ERS with this. Currently is looking good for a P6 iBlue. So definitely a good day for Alpha Tauri. Benefiting from all the bad luck of the other teams. Alpine not scoring optimal points today, for example. Haas is also doing great. Currently P6 in the Constructors, and has some serious chances there at strong points in P4 and 6 today, which will turn in P3 and maybe even P5. No, never mind that, because Neil Gilmov has now fallen behind too much there. These two are locked in an eternal fight for P8. I mean P7 even. And now iBlue is properly ahead. However, now Strusiak will have the DRS again. Let's just watch this fight for a little bit, because there's currently nothing else of interest going on as we speak. Only Nevo and Taisu being this close as well. And Strusiak now moving ahead again. So it just keeps switching between these two guys. And it seems they are just having a good laugh and having a lot of fun today. And iBlue knows he doesn't have to defend hard. He'll just have to stay within those 3 seconds. He will have the place anyway. Because of its incredibly old tires there, Guillemot is now slowed down to almost a crawl, I'd say. And Boris would like to get past very soon. However, his tires aren't that much nearer anyway, as Strusiek and iBlue are getting very close as well now. And Boris is going to have a go here. He's having a look, and there he goes then, side by side into turn 3. Guillemot giving the space, of course, and he is ahead. However, Guillemot having a great exit there will have a chance to come back. Can he do so? No DRS. I think Guillemot decides, yes, he's actually deciding to stay behind, not using his DRS at all. Strusiek is slowly but surely gaining on these two. The race leader is still going strong. Bibix 5.7 seconds behind. He's not going to make it. He is not going to make it whatsoever. Only a miracle will help him there. Nevo then toying with Taisu over third place. Pretty much toying because Taisu does have those 6 seconds and Nevo knows. He doesn't have to fight hard, as I said before. Just have to stay behind him. And he does so neatly. In the meanwhile, iBlue has moved ahead of Strusiek again. No news there. However, now things might become interesting, as now iBlue will still have DRS. He's now caught up to Guillemot and Boris. Both of them now have DRS. For some reason I keep mixing those two up. And Strusiek braking late and making contact! That was not a good move there from Strusiek. He shouldn't have done that. Unwise, and of course wisely letting past Guillemot there. The thing is though, will Guillemot have damage? Is there any damage to his floor, for example? I think there is. Looks like there's damage to Guillemot's floor then. Oh dear, I don't think Strusiek meant to do that at all, of course. They're just braking way too late. Guillemot decides to continue. And so does Strusiek, and iBlue will have a bit of a breather there. As he's now looking good for P5 even. Three seconds for Vegas added to his racing time, and he is currently fighting with Matrix over P11. Let's look at both of their penalties, both having 6 seconds. That's not ideal. Not ideal at all. And we have Boris retiring. Oh no, what happened there? Oh, he's lost control of the car there. Smashed into the wall after turn 4. Boris is out of the race, and no safety car will come from this as it's near the end of the 36 laps there. Oh no. He was doing quite well there. Which is lucky for several other drivers. iBlue will have no problem now. He'll have to go a bit faster though if he wishes to claim P4 even. At the cost of Taisu. And now Nevo is finally going to move ahead side by side. However, Taisu, no, he just gives away the inside line there. He knows it's not a good idea to defend very hard. It might cost them both more than he wishes. Now he's going side by side, trying to go around the outside of turn 4. And Nevo lets him go. Of course he does. It's the wisest thing to do. I have a feeling that Nevo is just cruising. Teasing Taisu, letting him know that he's losing the P3 anyway. Vegas in the meanwhile will have to defend P10 as Matrix would like to score a point for himself and his team. Currently both Alfa Romeos are in the top 10, sitting last in the championship, fighting over 9th place. But I believe... no, Aston Martin is P8. So they are definitely fighting for scraps over there. But then again, it's necessary. Every point is welcome. The final lap has started, and here it is then. Once again, the dominant man on the track. No problem there at all for him. starting in second place, overtaking Guillemot, moving into first place, and he never looked back. Maybe not as dominant as last week, but still strong. I don't think he was worried at any point in this race. He knows he has the pace. We all know he has the pace. And he will now move into the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Persegili then, the winner of the Formula 2 Austrian Grand Prix. Well done to him. Bibix then, after an insanely strong race, coming home second place after starting 16th on the grid. Nevo then, his first points are from a podium straight away. Taisu fallen down to fourth place, Ibru in P5. Guillemot, after starting on pole position, will probably be very disappointed in P6. Skykartoffel scoring some nice points in 7th place. Strusiak coming home in 8th. Zane Fast, after doing really well, spinning several times, having a lot of bad luck, still coming home in P9. Vegas then will hold on just barely to 10th place. And Matrix will have to make do with P11. His teammate already crossing the line then, last place. 12 drivers finished after Boris having a late DNF. And that's it. Driver of the day, of course, Bibix. I mean, what a race that man had. Stayed out of trouble, moved into second place after starting P16. Drive worthy of a potential future champion in AOR, that's for sure. Persegili then, very happy with his second win in a row. Getting plenty of champagne down his neck by Bibix. And there you have it. Bibix getting an extra point with the fastest lap. And let's have a little look-see at what will happen if there's any interviews. That will be happening tonight. Strong race. Well done on him and everybody. Really enjoyable. A lot of things happening. Many spins. Let's see who's willing to go for the interview. Of course, the race winner will likely join us very soon. And Persegili already saying in Discord that he had no issues, and that was pretty clear. Yes, no issues, no penalties, all very clean there today. Yeah, Petsy was definitely desynced. Johan still pretty angry. Well, plenty of things happened, but first of all, let's actually congratulate our winner of today. 2 races in a row, and from my calculations, now leader in the Driver Championship. Persegili, congratulations first of all. You overtook Guillemot at some point and never looked back. Is that the same feeling with you?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think I had decent pace all the time, so... for a moment it looked like we could get a 1-2 with Zane Fast, but unfortunately he spun.
Yeah, I saw that happening. That was quite unfortunate there for him. Now you're actually leading the Drivers' Championship. How do you feel about that? Do you think you can keep the lead or maybe even extend the lead?
Yeah, it's hard to say because next weekend it's Great Britain and it's so close racing there. But I'm not sure if the results today will count because there was a lot of desync.
Yeah, I saw Petsy having a desync, but I believe otherwise everybody else was fine.
Okay.
That's at least from my point of view, and judging from the Discord comments there, I think he is the only one who's having desync issues. But we'll see what happened to the race results. Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, good race from you nonetheless. Well done.
Thank you. It was it felt good.
All right, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Luckily for us, we also have the man in P2 waiting for us, who might be even happier than Persegilius tonight. It's Bibix joining us. Let's see if I can actually move him into the commentary box here. Yeah, there we go. Bibix then, from P16 to P2, driver of the day. I'm fully agreeing on that one. And now, of course, the big question here is, how was your race?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not really Bibix. I was his race manager for this race. I was with him on Discord, but he told me that I should go with the interview.
Okay,
First of all, I heard Persegili saying that he didn't see any desync problems. The grid penalty that Bibix got, it was because of a desync problem.
I see.
But actually, his race was insane, man. The way he went from P16 to P2 was awesome. He could, I think, win if he didn't stop pushing, because when there were like 5 or 6 laps, he said he won't push because he had 2 warnings and he won't catch Persegili, but actually he got a penalty, and I think if he kept pushing, he might have just won the race.
Yeah, I saw his pace slowing down a little bit after he made up like 3 or 4 seconds to Persegili. But after that, it was slowing down a little bit, and now I actually understand why. So yeah, that's a great race for him, and he's going to score some strong points there for his championship. How does he look on that for the drivers' championship?
He just is very confident that he could go for a championship this year. Like, if he has some good races next 2 or 3 weeks, he might be there in the top 3, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure which position is he right now after this race, but taking in consideration that one Alpine disqualified from this session, I think he got closer to the top 3.
Yeah, I'm currently looking at the Drivers' Championship. He was in P7 before this race started, and I think he will overtake... He might just join in the top 5 here today.
Oh, excellent,
so
excellent.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yes, and in the Constructors standings, I'm pretty sure he's up there, top 2 or top 3, something like that.
Yeah, AlphaTauri is currently sitting P3, and they might just go into P2 after Mercedes only had 1 drive. No, actually, never mind. They might still be in the top 3 in 3rd place, because Mercedes has 2 cars scoring points as well today.
Excellent.
So yeah, definitely looking good then.
Yeah. They could have gone even higher, but iBlue went to pit lane just behind Bibix, and he lost.
Yeah,
like
I saw it
1 or 2
happening.
seconds.
So that he lost a lot of time there, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Still, though, P5 for him and P2 for Bibix. So a good race for both team and drivers today. So well done to you all.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
so
Okay.
I think that was it.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Yes, hopefully. Good luck to all the boys in the race.
Cheers. All right. So then, a little bit of a question mark on this race now in the chat, as there have been more issues than I had noticed. Patsy for sure has had desync issues. There might have been more drivers having those issues. Let's hope that will be fixed very soon by Codemasters, as the multiplayer issues are getting bigger and bigger by every patch, it appears, which is just not good and very unfortunate. Let's hope things will improve, and let's see what will happen to these results. Of course, make sure to keep up to date with AOR by subscribing to their YouTube channel, visiting their website every now and then to see what will happen with these results. Either way, whatever happens, it's been a fantastic race to watch. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a great evening, and I will see you next week. Good night.